In Cookie Run Kingdom, Grandmaster is the highest rank in the arena. With only 0.5% of players reaching the golden rank, it's no surprise why it can be so difficult for some people to get into it and even stay in it. Welcome to Baker Berry, and today I'm going to be going over the top 5 things that have helped me reach Grandmaster. Make sure to stay until the end where I'll show you the one that's helped me the most. Now, as you can see, I'm currently in Grandmaster 3, and it's been a difficult climb. So I've been in Grandmaster the last few seasons, so I wanted to make this video to show you guys what helped me. Starting off with number 1. Number 1 is a simple one. Properly use your resources. Now, especially when you have a lot of gold or a lot of any kind of resource, you may be thinking that you can use it on whatever. I recommend thinking first about what you need the most. For example, when it comes to gold, if you need experience, go straight for the houses. They are the things that will help you level up your cookies more than anything. If you need production items, upgrade your factories. But once you are in a comfortable spot with both your houses and the factories, you should be spending most of your gold on the lab. The lab is just where you will be able to get those small boosts that will really make the difference in the game. And now another resource to keep in mind is also things like mileage points, crystals, and the resources that go into magic candies. So for example, crystals. You don't want to be using these for cookies like Caramel Show, but this gotcha right here is a good example of one that you probably would want to. A lot of these cookies are now recently being added to the meta or being meta in other PvE instances, and then we have Blueberry and Twizzly getting magic candies. So it's just to make sure that if you do have crystals, not every cookie is the same. So make sure you pick the right ones. Now that leads me to number 2. And number 2 is going to be save your Soulstone chests for ascended cookies. I cannot emphasize this enough. Save the Soulstone chests for ascended cookies. The reason being is because once a cookie gets to an ascended rank, it is much harder to get from the gacha. Much harder. And the thing is as well, once you get to that ascended rank, that's really where cookies can really start to separate from themselves and other cookies from the other players. So a good example of cookies to upgrade right now would be meta cookies. Rebel Cookie is the meta in the PvE guild battle and in a lot of arena teams. Creme Brulee is a guild battle monster, a PvE story monster, and also very useful in PvP. Then we have Linzer here as well, another great example of a PvE strong cookie. Make sure you know what cookie you want and how they are useful to you. If you are focused on Grandmaster, you would want something like Rebel Cookie or Burnt Cheese Cookie, epics that are used in your team that could use that further boost. Now, on to number 3. Number 3 is the small boosts matter. Now, I know this may be something that some players are aware of, but I feel like it's so important that I needed to just elaborate further on it. Now, many of you know about boosts like the lab, from guild battle, from the treasure statue of radiance. Now, what many people may not realize is that these little boosts really are the difference makers at the end of the game. Toppings and these small boosts. Some of the best players have their landmarks and labs maxed out. Now, for example, there are landmarks that increase your health by up to 70%. Right here, all cookies plus 33.8, and it's not fulled out. I'm sorry, I'm at 50%. Plus 50% cookie health. There is another one that increases attack, the Dreaming Jelly Lion statue. And another one that increases damage resistance by 15%. Guys, these are boosts that you do not want to sleep on. If you want to stand a chance at being competitive in guild battle and in the meta and in the arena, you need to boost your landmarks, your lab, and be in an active guild that is further trying to increase their stat boosts. Now, that leads me to number 4. Now, number 4 is a bait team. Some of you may be asking, what is a bait team? And I'm sure you've actually probably seen it once or twice. A bait team is a team that you put on defense purposefully to lose. Now, what I usually do is I'll just choose a story mode team that they automatically generated. It will be Strawberry, Wizard, and Ginger Brave. Now, I just set these as my defensive cookies and just let it go. Now, some of you may be asking, why? Wouldn't you lose trophies losing your defensive battles? You do. But, and the important and big but, is that as you play the game, you will be able to get massive amounts of revenge battles that you will be able to take advantage of later in the climb. For example, if you're at Elite 2 or Elite 1 and you're just having a very difficult time getting that last push into Grandmaster and you just can't beat the teams you're being paired up against, having an entire list of teams you can revenge against that battled a 3 common cookie team would help you very much, because I can almost guarantee you a majority of those teams are not good. And even if it's 1 or 2 trophies, battling 30 teams that give you 2 trophies is 60 extra trophies. That could be the difference between Elite 2 and 1 or Elite 1 and Grandmaster 3. So make sure you set a bait team when the season starts. And when you get into the high ranks, as you guys could see, I didn't have a bait team set up at this moment. The reason why is because once you get into the high ranks, you want to make sure you take that bait team off so you can hold your position and then further climb from there. Now, on to number 5. Number 5 is the most important, I can't stress this enough, need to know. Now, I want to preface this by saying, occasionally there may be a team in the meta that is just so good they alone will reach Grandmaster for you. That's not common, but it can happen. Like this current team that you see in front of you, and also the other teams involving Stormbringer Cookie are some examples of teams that are essentially dominating the meta. But that's not always the case. There will be times, oftenly, where you need counter teams. Now, counter teams are teams that are meant to beat certain teams. Now, for example, this team right here has led me to Grandmaster 2 almost. But anytime I face a tri DPS team, they lose. So how do I tackle tri DPS teams? I usually come in with the tri tank. Now, I usually replace Strawberry Crepe Cookie with someone else like Burnt Cheese or Fettuccine, but I have her there for experimenting reasons. But the point stands is that not every team will be your best team won't be every team. As a matter of fact, it'd be surprising for a non-whale to be able to have one team that can dominate everything. So make sure that you look at the teams that you're winning with your main team and the teams you're losing against. And from there, try to figure out what teams are good against the teams you lose against and switch up what teams you lead into battle. Because that's a big difference between losing 5 trophies for a loss or gaining 12 because you beat the same team you just lost to. That's a 17 trophy swing, and that can happen across many battles. So it's important to know, have those counters in place, have a bait team in place, and make sure you're careful with your resources, folks. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure you check out my other video where I see if Creme Brulee can beat every single story mode boss. And make sure to also like, comment, and subscribe on what else you want to see. Thank you guys, and have a good day.